Monrovia, and then sell down Wolosa. Sell plastic bag down Wolosa. Sell peanut down Wolosa.
For your own benefit.
For my own benefit. And that money comes to me, and I use that money to pay my children's school fee in Cedar A, give them lunch money and all of that, while my uncle children is not in school.
Yeah.
So that form is exploitation. But there are three elements that constitute human trafficking. So in case the police carry on investigation, is the act, the means, and the purpose. Before a police officer who is trained in human trafficking can charge any alleged trafficker, all three elements must be found in that case. But in the case of a child, like I told you about my uncle children, probably in the under the age of 18, so the police only need the act and the purpose for children.
Yeah.
But for adult, you need all three elements. For children don't need to give consent. Once you tell a child, say, I want to go to school, the child will be happy, right?
Yeah.
But for adult, you have to use specific method. You have to
reach the age.
Yeah, and you have to use some specific method to say, oh, you know what? I will carry to abroad, I will carry America, I will carry England, or in the Middle East, you make $1,000 and all those kinds of things. So when the police, when you are found in human trafficking, all the three elements are found in that case, the police will charge you, send you to court, and you get prosecuted. Yeah.
Great. So, I mean, looking at the work, the Secretariat has been able to do since the establishment, how has it been? How with the coordination, you have different line ministries and agencies comprising the Secretariats. So each ministry has a role to play. So what are those divine roles?
So, like he said, we have a policy document that we develop over time. We have our 5-year national action plan that speaks to 4 thematic areas that he told you about: prevention, prosecution, partnership, and protection. Right?
Yeah.
We have what we call a standard operating procedure to assist victims of human trafficking. We also have a national referral mechanism document. So the 5-year national action plan is our roadmap in the fight against human trafficking. So if we want to address human trafficking, we look at those 4 thematic areas. So he was saying to you, in a case where somebody was involved with human trafficking, the police go in there and investigate. When you are charged, he sends you to court, and the Ministry of Justice, the Assistant Minister for Litigation. But then it was considered, we say now, but he's a judge down in River G. So he and his team, we ensure that you get prosecuted in court, criminal code A. And then if you are found guilty, you serve your sentence. Now, the law says, the new law says, the revised law of 2021 says that if you were convicted for human trafficking, your minimum sentence that you'll be served in prison will be 20 years. Unlike the first law of 2005 that says 1 year.
So the law, the punishment for trafficking is 20 years.
In the revised law is 20 years.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And not just 20 years. Restitution is a matter of must.
Restitution. What do you mean?
Because that person was used for financial gain or whatever gain. The person incurs some
benefits.
Maybe there was a sexual exploitation that went on.
Yeah.
You are used that person. So the person is now back home, and the court ruled that you are guilty, you are sentenced. The person must be given something to start their life or to go on. So if a property in Liberia, property was confiscated and sold so that person can get restitution as a way of denying people from trafficking people around the world. And like you also said, internal trafficking is one of our key issues we're fighting now as the task force. You'll be aware that internal trafficking is difficult to fight. External trafficking, yes, we can trace the root, we can know.
So what's the difference between internal and external?
So internal is in our border.
Okay.
So external is outside our border.
Okay.
And so we have won cases that people have gone outside our border and they are back. And, and government have been able to track them down. Government have supported or helped all countries around, like Sierra Leone, Africa, the rest of Europe, in the bilateral agreement to prosecute people. Internally, the government is also doing well in making sure that we follow up cases where people are brought from. Like you said, I'm from Bon County. So I went to Bon County, I brought my nephew or I served as a foster father to someone, a child. And I brought that child with the hope of seeking greener pasture. That child has been exploited by means of other, serving as sex worker to survive. Okay, and I'm doing using control mechanism on a child. The person go out, they are used, and then the money comes to me, I benefit, and they are there. So in most cases, government Liberia through the security sector and the task force have been working hard to mitigate some of the cases.
Yeah,
and going to hotels, the business area, to know what is happening with the workers there and how things have been doing. So by and large, that's why I put the government of Liberia from one step to another. Now the government is on tier 2, and we're hoping that we can move further based upon the kind of record the government has set and is setting in the work against, along with the partners in trafficking.
Okay,
yeah,
great. So Adolphus, you want to tell us how the coordination has been, how smooth, and what sort of progress?
Yeah, so the secretary is the one that serves as the coordination arm of the entire task force. We work along land ministry and agency in the fight against human trafficking. So we have been very cordial. In fact, we are getting a lot of support from our international friends, meaning the International Development Law Organization, who has trained more than 300 justice actors over time, prosecutors, magistrates, judges, police officers, immigration officers, DEA, and the rest of it. They have provided funding to the Secretariat to empower us, create awareness in the 15 political subdivisions of our country. ROM, just about 8 months ago, ROM got some funding from the State Department, from the American government, and they have refurbished 2 of our newly safe homes to state of the art equipment. I mean, furniture and things to protect victims of human trafficking. And then all of international friends, the World Hope International, that are providing psychosocial counseling and clinical counseling to our girls that came from Oman. You have the local NGO, the DCR, who is working in Grand Cayman County to create awareness on the danger of human trafficking across the border of Liberia, Grand Cayman, and Buolosa.
Yeah.
And you have UN Women and UN Human Rights, all the people supporting the task force by providing financial aid to the task force to ensure that we prosecute TRP cases across Liberia.
Yeah.
So we have made some significant strides. Like he told you, currently we are at tier 2, meaning that the government of Liberia recognizes that human trafficking exists in the country, and we have now prosecuted human trafficking.
Yeah.
We have done enough in prosecution. Last year, we had 7 cases that were sent to court, and we won 5 of those cases, and there were only 2 heard fairly. This year, we're saying 6 cases of court. We won 2 currently, and there are 4 still ongoing. And we hope to win those cases in court. So we are done.
I think I saw the report from the State Department.
Exactly. And Liberia, Liberia was the only country in Africa sometime last year that produced the only TRP hero in whole of Africa, George Colino Fumo Wena. He was decorated by the United States government. He traveled to America and they decorated him. So we have done so much in the fight against human trafficking. Currently, we are providing funding to the local NGOs. We got 10 local NGOs now that we are giving funding to create TRP awareness in the 15 political subdivisions of the country. Yeah, so we have done so much.
So just to add to what Darada said, in Liberia, the Ministry of the Secretariat through the task force have been able to establish a task force, a monthly task force meeting in the counties. So you go to Grand Cayman now, there was a monthly task force meeting that's chaired by the through the Ministry of Labor. You go to Bon County, you go to Nima County. So it is not only Monrovia-based task force. So it is task force that in the counties, 15 counties, and Secretariat coordinates the affair of the task force. And all of the major players, like he said, including civil society, international partners that in those counties are in line with the task force meeting and making sure that all of the counties are knowledgeable about the danger and how we all can work together to prevent task force in this country. So I just wanted to add it.
Great. So we've been joined by another person. Please, your name?
My name is Kemanzina.
Okay. And your position? Are you a member of the task force?
Well, we are a strong supporter to the task force, especially the survivors from Oman.
Okay.
So we are always in line with the Ministry of Labor, especially the human trafficking department
Mm.
to purchase them wherever they go in helping them to carry on awareness of human trafficking. And we are there to also explain to the public the danger of human trafficking. And
Under which organization?
we work, contribute directly with the Ministry of Labor.
Oh, okay.
I'm one of those that were in Oman.
Okay.
And, yeah. So all of those ladies who came back from Oman, we have been directly in line with the Ministry of Labor, especially the Secretariat Department, where we have been working in line with them, like trying to create awareness on human trafficking to serve as example to people,
the witness,
to tell them that this is real.
Yeah, ambassadors.
And we have been through a lot of trainings from IOM, and we went through psychological training and that of the business training, where young women were being trained on how to be reintegrated into society.
Okay.
So yeah, this is a process where we have, as a group, a lot of women. We were over 100 plus that were being. Firstly, we went at the Baptist Seminary, and later on, IOM took on to 50 persons first to carry on a particular training at iCampus to be reintegrated and do some recycling training, psychosocial training for women, in order to rebrand their mind, not making them to always take their mind back to where they came from.
Great.
So yeah, so based on that, we as a group, we have organized ourselves from our own organization to help in purchasing government in carrying on awareness or fighting cases of human trafficking in Liberia.
So you have first-hand information concerning human trafficking.
Yeah,
What is it? How grave is it?
The first thing is we can say now we are the survivor, right?
Yeah.
Because we have already been.
Some people doubt it. Do you know that?
Yeah, some people doubt it. Even up at this point, some people doubt it. But until you get to them and then explain to them the situation, and then they see you, and you will be yourself as a living evidence to them.
Yeah.
And then
so share with us the experience.
Okay, so starting from Liberia, the process is that the agent from Liberia will come to, especially like for me, we have a job in Oman and also schooling, because most of our main focus going out of country is about going to school and advancing ourselves. So it was like, this job is in this country, and if you go there, you're going to be advanced, especially you are focused on your education and other things. So it's an opportunity for you to go there and further yourself for your school and bettering yourself for yourself, and your family.
Yeah.
So I was like, but where is the country? And then he called the country name, but
is the agent foreigner or
no,
Liberian?
As a Liberian.
Okay.
He's a Liberian. He's Sivas, but right now he's on the run.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the process started where they started recruitment from Liberia. What they do is that the whole process is online. Yeah, they communicate from the agents from that side. We also call them the agent, those who received the ladies. So we call them the agent from Oman. So they do all of their processes online, visa, whatsoever communication, they do it online. And they also, like, when we got there, they were like, every other necessary document that you people needed was, all of the funds were sent to your agent. That being passport, visa, plane ticket, COVID-19 test, also have a document, necessary documents. So what they did was that they when they tell you that you are going to do your passport process, your COVID-19 and all of petty document here for your visa and plane ticket will be free. So this will help you to govern that more or budget, or maybe or put yourself together to go and prepare yourself. Yeah. So many of our young ladies were even told that they are actually going to school, not even talking about work. And some of them were even told about going to other country.
Yeah.
Not naming a particular country that they found themselves in. So there were a lot of conflicting statements from the agents here in Liberia and that side. So when we got there, we were like, firstly, the work, like they told us about, the salary was huge from here. But when we got there, the salary reduced. Yeah, in the process. So when we get to know the salary, we were like, but this is not the real information we get from Liberia. And they said, but ask their agent, this is what we told them. And we have made they made agreement already. They have their own negotiation that they got commission of whatsoever salary that the worker will go and do.
Yeah,
like every month.
They have account on it.
They have account on it. Like every month they have accounts on it, each person. So imagine how many person an individual will send there. They got their own percentage on their salary. And taking also agent fee from this side, they will charge a person maybe $700 or $600. You know, it's not much, especially when it comes to traveling. So the person will be eager to give it. So imagine each person how many will give it. So when we get there, the whole information from this side was like different from what we were seeing we were seeing a real thing from that side instead of what we were being told here. Yeah. So firstly, we went there. They say in the first place, you are not allowed to wear any other clothes in our house. We got a special clothes like a big gown that will give it to you and put it on. Secondly, you are not allowed to go out until or we take you out or we ask you to go out. So you remain indoors.
So you get restricted.
Yeah. In the first place, they restrict you from going out. They restrict you from, wearing some things like is their work. I mean, their way of handling their workers in their house. So
I mean, just to come back to you. So it means that all that she's saying just explains how the definition of human trafficking is.
So
it fits the definition.
So now her situation is contextual in 3 elements.
Yes.
The act, which is the transportation that happened to her. She got on the plane from Rawalpindi and she went. They transferred her. She left from Monrovia. She was in Oman. They receive her in the home there in Oman. So that they act. It means the 2 also she's going to get, let's say, $500 a month. When she got there, probably give up $100 or below $100.
Less than that.
So that's a mean that's exception. The fact that she was not being taken care of, she was abuse, that exploitation. So these are the 3 elements.
Wow.
Yeah.
So another thing they tell you is that I mean the agent from this side would be like, you are not going for long, probably you're going for 6 months, and after your 6 months you have the right to leave the area and go anywhere of your choice that you want to leave, because you're going to be getting huge amount of salary. So and then when we got there, it was like, no, it's not that way. You are here for 2 years, and even above, some people are not even allowed to leave after 2 years if they don't deem it necessary for the worker to leave. Yeah. So the process is that after restricting you from going out, you are to work at like 4 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning to start your work, and you will be working up to like 12 to 1 o'clock before you have even a 5-minute break, and then you get up at that time again to go back to work and be working up to 12 to 12:30 in the morning the next morning before you have a rest. So many of these things were like we were confused. And, we tried to communicate with each other. What's happening? What's the main story behind this? Right. So like for me, I was like, but what's the whole issue? And then like in the meantime, I said, okay, let's try to cope with the situation and see to know deeply how ready the situation is. So we became to like I began to like be patient a while in the process to really observe, to really know and get more information about the whole process. So I was like trying to get more information from outside, like their laws about the country, what's their working term. And it was like they never even have a working day off. Like you have to work from Monday to Sunday every day, and there is no rest, and you are not allowed like to go out. So when I searched their work their Omani laws or stuff, they were like, you have 2 days out in a week, especially when you are working full-time in their home, and then you have like maximum time to rest like 5 times before the day end. And they meet at the last hour you're supposed to go to bed is 9 o'clock, the latest 9 o'clock in the night. But it was not like that.
Wow.
The whole work was like so heavy that if you don't complete their work totally, you don't have a rest.
Right.
Until you complete our work.
So let's just inform our listeners that we're talking all this because yesterday, the 30th of July, was to be celebrated as National World Day Against Human Trafficking in Persons.
Yeah.
But it's celebrated today.
So the day fell on Sunday.
Yeah.
And in our country, on Sunday it's almost like a holiday. So because it fell on Sunday, we decided to host it on today.
Okay.
And it will be held in Nuku Town, at the town hall in Nuku Town. And our keynote speaker for today will be Senator Sir Joseph, Mosori County Senator. So the day is set aside to serve as an observant for people who have been trafficked worldwide. It create awareness on the danger of human trafficking and how we can all fight it and mitigate it in our member country around the world. So in 2013, the UN General Assembly set July 30th of each year to be celebrated as World Day Against Trafficking in Person. So all member countries around the world on July 30th should celebrate World Day Against Human Trafficking as a means to create that awareness on the danger of human trafficking across the globe.
So today's celebration, who are those attending?
So there'll be an array of dignitaries coming to the program today. We expect to see the Minister of Justice, co-chair on the task force.
Okay.
We expect to see the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Man, our guests were in Oman. It was the Ministry of Foreign Affairs that worked on all the modalities and the bilateral arrangement to have them back in Liberia. So we expect to see the Minister of Foreign Affairs. We expect to see the Minister of Internal Affairs. We expect to see the Minister of Gender. We expect to see the Police Inspector General. We expect to see the Bureau of Immigration Services Commissioner, as well as the folks from the American Embassy, local and international NGO will be all in attendance into this program.
Okay, great. Yeah, so we're looking at, each year there is this report, the State Department report on trafficking in persons, the TRP report. There are recommendations therein. So from the angle of the task force, though you have other ministries like the Ministry of Labor, Gender and all that on the task force, but you as the director and you run the day-to-day affairs of the task force.
Exactly.
What happens to those recommendations?
So those recommendations are key to us because those are recommendations you must pass to get to the next level by the State Department. So what we do as a government, as a task force, and as a secretary that run the day-to-day, we coordinate among these line ministry and agency and international friends. Like for instance, I was telling you about the International Development Law Organization that into the root of law. They train a lot of what time they are trained more than 300 justice actors. Now, the reason why they train those justice actors is to be able to either prosecute, identify, charge people for human trafficking and send to court. The reason why we IOM, which is the International Organization for Migration, going into creating awareness on trafficking in person is to ensure that people in the community get the idea and know what human trafficking is and they can report it. And then as well as the other international NGO that involved with human trafficking. So there's a collective effort that we all apply against the fight against human trafficking. And I think we are making some significant effort. That's why today we are now on tier 2. For the last 2 years now, we have been on tier 2. Unlike years back, we're on the watch list. The watch list means that yes, you recognize trafficking taking place in your country, but you have not done enough to fight human trafficking. But as we speak, over time, the government of Liberia has given us the secretary and the staff for more than $500,000 to fight human trafficking across the country. And we have provided funding to local NGOs, the community-wide forum that sits near me here, and all other local NGOs to create awareness on human trafficking in the 15 political subdivisions of our country.
Okay.
We have established safe home. Now we got 3 safe homes to budget the effort from the Ministry of Gender, because the Ministry of Gender is the one that have that statutory mandate for protections and taking care of safe home. But because the Ministry of Gender does not cater to adults who are victims of human trafficking, like Keman Bamasaya.
Yeah.
So for us at the Ministry of Labor, we created this safe home for adults. So we got 3 across the country, and we intend to do more in the coming year as long as we get budgetary allotment coming to the Ministry of Labor through the Secretariat.
Yeah.
So when you ask the question, how far the Ministry of Labor through the Secretariat, type of through Secretariat, like I said earlier, they have 4 thematic areas. So they work alongside to making sure that the State Department report is understood to the letter, and they make sure that we work in line with the State Department report. They work alongside with those in those 4 thematic areas. For instance, those are in prevention. Like you said, making sure that prevention is awareness is one of the key issues. They make sure they provide support, moral, financially, and support to the secretariat.
Mhm.
The secretariat then assists the local NGOs, in making sure that they do that awareness. If it is in prosecution, that report go into consideration that we need to do more prosecution of internal trafficking. They're making sure that there are more cases are reported, and those cases that are reported, secretariat go through them along with the police and find out that the cases are world trafficking cases. They send them to the police for investigation. Now remember, not all cases are trafficking cases. Some look like trafficking cases, but like he said, or we said earlier, must have those elements that constitute the crime in trafficking.
Yeah.
So when that is done, they are prosecuted. Okay. So basically, every time the State Department gives a report, the Secretary and the task force take it seriously, and they make sure that they work in line with the 4 thematic area in making sure that they work, because the report will just come from your thematic area.
Yeah.
What you told the people you do, so that what they will hold you back. So when they hold about this, they say you are not prosecuted this, you have not done this. The secretary will move and making sure that those things that I said that is not been done, it be done in the next reporting period.
Great. Well, if you just joined us, it is a reminder you're listening to the Super Morning Show on ELBC Radio. We have members of the National Human Trafficking Task Force in studio. Gia Adolphus Satya is the director of the Trafficking Persons Secretariat at the Ministry of Labor. Emmanuel Colomian, the focal person trafficking in persons, and one of our ambassadors of human trafficking. Again, I'm forgetting her name. Kemanzina. Okay, so now let's look at all of these efforts in the next 3, 4, 5 years from now. What will be Liberia's fate in the fight against human trafficking?
So, like I always say, and I maintain this position, we have what we call a 5-year national action plan, and it speaks to 4 thematic areas. So, as long we receive money from the government of Liberia, we address the issue of human trafficking in these 4 thematic areas. So, for instance, we say prevention. We provide funding to local NGOs to create awareness on prevention. We will have jingle play on the radio. We read billboards across the country. We print t-shirts I'm wearing right now, depicting message of human trafficking. For when I'm working in somebody see me, so human trafficking exists, and so we should prevent it. All right, these are all preventive measures, right? And we'll go into what protection. We establish safe zone across the country. So just in case, if we get victims of human trafficking who are abused, we'll put it in our safe zone. They will serve as state witnesses in court. Then for prosecution, we'll pump in a lot of money into the Ministry of Justice to be able to get the best legal man to prosecute TRP cases in court. And for the coordination that we normally do, we meet the last Friday of every month where we conduct our human trafficking meeting, and where we bring together all of the different stakeholders in one room to address the issue of human trafficking across the country. So in the next 3 years from now, as long as we continue to receive funding from central government, we'll go according to these different thematic areas as our roadmap in the fight against human trafficking to be able to reduce, not eradicating the entire human trafficking across Liberia, because it's almost impossible, but we can reduce it to some extent.
Yeah. So Kema, how important are you ambassadors to raising the awareness against, because you're not just, your target is not just young women like yourself, but also the perpetrators, the agents, discouraging this network of agents. There should be no network of agents to facilitate human trafficking. So what are you doing? Are you telling the secretariat or giving them clue as to where these agents are? Who are those? Have you given sufficient information concerning that?
Yeah, in the first place, most of the traffickers, they are somehow sensitive. Like, they don't show up their self. in most cases because they know the punishment afterward when they are being caught. So most of their hiding places, they will be like, the moment we get one person who is being linked to that process, like they are about to get recruited, we try to trace with that person to know where exactly the main perpetrator is. So yes, that's our main target, because they don't in normal cases they don't show their stuff. They always send people their head to go and carry on the process, and after the process they are the main person receiving or maybe doing all of the whole process. So our choice is that getting one person, or sometimes we know where they live. Especially like somehow they will come to you, like you and I, we are friendly, and you will do it in a kind of friendly mood and try to make me to just so and make me confused or make me or convince me to make me believe that what you are saying is true, and I know you well. So knowing you well is a kind of way that we can track you easily. And I know you well, we link with someone who knows you well to also track you down. So our main force here is to actually reduce. I can say it's actually reducing, because since this whole story came about women in Oman, they are being trafficked and all of things. The whole, from my end, what I view is that they have reduced the way it was before.
Do we still have women there? Yes, women are there. They are there, but some of them have said that they are trying their utmost means to come back. Even the government have put in some measures to go there and bring those who are willing to come back. Those who have been really maltreated and they are waiting to come back. So they are there, and their measures are being put in place to helping them, making them to come back to Liberia. Yeah.
So to the question you asked, Kevin, it is difficult to fight human trafficking. I'm aware that when they were back in the country trying to prosecute or trying to follow up the cases, you hear people on radio saying they lie. They're creating their own stories. They want to exploit. Wow. They are doing this and that. Not knowing that the guys are truly saying what they saw and what they heard and what they're doing and what they're going through. Those that traffic people are normally your relatives or close friends. So they use the means and to traffic you. So sometimes they use control mechanism on your family, on your loved ones, and all people you are close to, and making sure that you do not report those cases to the police or to people involved in the prevention of trafficking. So I could be in Oman there, the trafficker is in Liberia here, but he's controlling my mother and someone, and not to say anything. So tell me, look, if you say this one, your people will be threatened, they will be coerced, and they'll be prosecuted. So because I'm a novice to trafficking, highly work, I keep my mouth shut. But the people that are bold are prepared to stand against it, and they report those cases to the police, and they work along with the secretariat, making sure that people perpetrators are brought to book. Trafficking is a very serious thing, and it is difficult to understand and to fight. So the government of Liberia, through the secretariat, the task force, did this hardline issue where they have asked family members of Liberians to report cases, suspected cases of trafficking, even when they find out or perpetrators are around, to report them. The government will be able to use their training means to report those cases to the police, making sure that those people are perpetrators brought to book. So there's a clear working line of the secretariat to the task force in making sure that, like you said, that issue of people traveling all of Liberia is minimized. Yes, it's difficult. It is difficult to say we control it, but we can minimize it. So we also in contact with people that do some awareness at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in making sure that how people go there for passport, what they want to do, how they want to people traveling with kids. In fact, personally, Liberia, there's what we call the exit clearance. Traveling with children all of Liberia will have exit clearance. And from the government of Liberia, making sure that that's your child or that your children you're traveling with, so that tomorrow anything happen, the government will say, look, you are the one that took these children of Liberia, took the child of Liberia. So that's the kind of system government is put in place, and I put in place in making sure that people don't just travel outside, young people don't just travel outside because they want greener pasture.
Great.
Probably just to say something quick. Like instead of fighting, especially trying to hold on the trafficker is difficult. I will give you an instance where when we're at that end, there were a lot of victims who were really being maltreated, some were even being raped. So what the trafficker did was that go and coerce this particular victim and tell them that, like we were calling on radio, doing other talk show, carry on the information that this is happening in this country and we need rescue, and this is the kind of things. And, we gave the government a lot of information. So what the trafficker did was that go and especially those who we were targeting as the main victim. They were being raped, they were being beaten, some were even being like missing, we don't know, or we didn't know. They went and then coerced this particular person, say, go on the air, what they are saying about you, go and debunk it, go and say anything, just to defend me.
Because I hear that a lot of them say they don't want to come back.
They don't want to come, and they were okay. And at the end, some of them were even being more victimized than we that were even pushing the case. These are things that happen. Like the trafficker will actually control you to tell you what to do. So in handling that cases, you'll be like, okay, this person that you are talking about, say this person is being badly injured or they are being maltreated. Now this person has come out to say they are not maltreated, they are okay. So what's the evidence do you have to defend yourself? So it was actually giving us high time when the trafficker was like going to convince the victim themselves to say, go and defend me. I will give you this, because from each worker's salary, they got percentage, like I said earlier. Okay. So they will tell the person at the end of the month, I will give you so percentage of what I will earn. And then that victim will be like, okay, I can do it. And it happened to a girl, they call her Grace. Right now, she's still in Oman. She was the first person that got really beaten, and she was like, other cases came about from her. And we started to put this particular case. This same victim, Amadou went and trafficker told her that, go and defend me. Tell the people or tell the country that everything is okay with you. And she did. So while we were trying to push her to the consulate to get her back home, we tried to leave her case because she was like trying to defend the trafficker instead of her trying to push her case.
Not purchasing the
effort. So it was difficult for us. And then she left there. We left her there. So when Sandy time came, she was like, oh, I'm tired. I was trying to defend Amadou, and right now he's not even talking to me. So after defending him, he blocked her. He was not talking to her again, and she found herself in a situation that she couldn't find enemies.
So let me just state for the record, over time, the government of Liberia brought back over 300 of the girls from Oman. The government of Liberia also, with the help of ROM, provided reintegration packages for about 50 of them. And it's an ongoing process. So the first 50 received $1,500 each.
For resettlement?
And she one of the beneficiary right here. So, and we're working with ROM again to see how we can factor the other girls that stay outstanding when it comes to providing reintegration packages. So, and we stay intent, or we are going to ensure that we get all our girls from Oman who want to come back home. We have been working with
But in a case where this victim is being coerced to stay, and you see the need that she needs to be repatriated, so what do you do in that case?
In fact, it kind of hypothetical about if the victim is being coerced and you see the need that she's in some desperate situation, well, once we can get to her and convince her as the good guy, we can bring her back. But if she so coerced to the point that she say, oh, she want to talk to people who happen to be the good guy, like us, who are social workers, who will say, look, these people don't mean well for you, but we mean well, and be able to convince her. We have her brought back, but if she refuses and me have herself from us, there's no one can force somebody to bring you back when you don't want to come back. But we have been working through the Liberia Consul General in Dubai, and he has been doing so much for the government of Liberia. All of the girls that came back from Oman, I will pass through him tomorrow. He bought tickets, he procured tickets. The government of Liberia sent the money to him, he procured tickets, put them on the plane, send them back to Monrovia. And the ministry, the staff will go in there, receive them, provide medical, then psychosocial counseling. I remember in September last year, we talked about 112 little girls at Baptist Seminary, where we brought in experts from UNODC, experts from ROM, World Hope International, the police, and then we provided them psychosocial counseling. We didn't just stop there. Additional funding was provided to ROM that they also conducted additional psychosocial counseling for them, for the 50 girls. and business management training. Because right after that, they provided them reintegration packages.
Okay.
So as we speak, all the girls that came back that received those reintegration packages are doing business. They are going about that normal life, and they are doing fine. So when they came very slim, dry, now you see them now, man, your house could cut. But again, those are also viral now. You gotta be careful.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see if we can take some calls. But before we take the calls, I just wanted you to tell us how do you escape from your traffickers?
You mean that from that anywhere?
Yeah, from that.
Okay,
So how do you leave?
The whole process is very difficult and it's kind of risky because in the first place, we were like, be bold and tell your boss, like the counselor said. He was taking it to be a kind of diplomatic way where they would just agree to say, oh, if you want to go, and then they will allow you to go free. But it was not working that way. So if you tell them, okay, I'm tired of the job and I want to leave, and they will be like, no, we signed a contract for 2 years, and even after the 2 years, if we deem it necessary for you to leave, you will do. But if not, you will not leave. So it became very difficult of how to leave. So the first thing we do is that pull out here together, escape your home. Overnight. Yeah. So you have these Nigerian guy who are there. That's a business they do, and then you negotiate with them. They show you their price, how much to bring it outside. It's in the Omani money. They call it real. So they give you their charge and then set a particular time where they will go and get you out of the house, because the distance, there are a lot of, the distance are far. Where, like, for where I live from there to the city, it was up to 1 hour 30 minutes. Yeah. So mind you, if you are going also and then you are being caught, the person who is carrying you plus you are you people are in a very big problem. And from that end, their country law is that any worker who escaped from home is a big crime in the country. And this thing we call trafficking, they don't consider it as trafficking. They consider it as labor work. So it's hard for you to defend yourself from that side to like, oh, my boss is doing bad to me, unless where you go on to show evidence or you know that they have been maltreating you. And even if you show evidence, the authority will not just easily go and hold your boss to say, oh, this is happening to this worker and we are holding for this. They also defend their people. So the best thing that we could do is that to run away from home. And like you were asking director whether it's easier for you to take someone who is not waiting to come, that person will definitely stay there. Like I talked about a girl who we tried working on and she didn't agree to come from the beginning. So if you refuse to say, oh, you don't want to go, director or the counselor will not go in your boss's house to go and take you from there. They don't even know the place. You only show you a particular area to go and be there. Mind you, where you are, we call it a safe home. That's how we came about the name of a safe home, because we have been escaping from danger and finding a place to be safe in the meantime in order to return to our country. So that particular area, if you are there, they're where they're going to work on your process. And even if you escape from home, it takes another time again for them to allow you to come outside, because your process, your document is with your bosses. Your bosses have to give your passport, everything. They will take it from you. Your bosses have to give your document back to the labor ministry there, in order, they call it a manpower, in order for them to sign out your paper for you to leave the country. If your boss may not give you your document, you might likely spend 4 or 5 months outside. It's kind of difficult again, because you need food, you're not working, you need food, you need other things then. So the government actually did work providing food, providing all of the necessary material. Why are they safe home? And being there and trying to process our document. Imagine if they would be like, this person is complaining of being raped. We will prevent the case, like the evidence before them. They will still try to defend their people that it's not the way it is. For the bosses to bring the document, they will demand money again. You have to get certain amount before we turn out your person document to you. Some of our sisters even left their document behind, and the counselor have to make way that they just come like that. Yeah. So before we can leave our bosses, we have to escape. No one will easily just leave like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I try to dwell. So today is World Day Against Human Trafficking celebration. So basically today we'll be using Liberians to celebrate that day.
Okay.
So Liberia, there's serious internet trafficking going in Liberia as it is in the foreign land,
Mhm.
external trafficking. So internal trafficking, like I said, to draw you back to what we are going through internally, like she said.
Mhm.
Externally, we're having problem getting back our people. Internally, we're having the same problem too of our citizens. And so it's a difficult thing to do, like the story she explained now. It's similar to happening in Liberia here. Somebody from Basso to Monrovia, to get then the mother of that child or the father will tells you that's not trafficking.
Mm.
That's not trafficking. My son is staying with my friend or my brother, so he got the right to beat him. He got the right that he should not eat, he should sleep where he want to sleep, but he do not know what is going on. His son want to explain to him, he do not want to listen to his son. Once his son is in Monrovia, he feed that all to life.
Mm.
So, like she said, the same thing is happening here. We go around sometime with their issues, their cases, the secretariat want to intervene in. Someone can say, no, they're not trafficking thing, talking about that my brother, my son living with him. So it makes it too difficult. If it's difficult here, what's more about out there?
Sure.
Mm.
That's why government is trying to do utmost best, making sure there are more awareness internally done in the various counties so people can understand through the LOs, through the Ministry of Internal Affairs, talking about the chiefs, the LOs, the women group, and making sure that they understand the danger.
Okay.
Not only when it comes to Monrovia, the issue, but what are they doing in Monrovia? So how to live? Because people send a child even in Monrovia, they don't check on them. You know that? They send a child to live with Daryl Satya, for almost 10 years. They don't care to come to Monrovia.
Yeah.
To
So
come and check on
so
the
let's
child.
take few calls. Call us on 0. Our Lone Star line is having some problems. So call us on 0770581886. 0770581886. We have folks from the trafficking in person secretariat. Adolfo Satya is the director. For the trafficking in person secretariat, Emmanuel Coleman, the focal person, trafficking in person at the Community Watch Forum, and Kema Zina, ambassador. Let's hear from this person. Good morning.
Good morning, Pastor.
Morning.
My name is Prince, calling from Bannerville.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, when you talk about trafficking, it happened to me. One of my friends, I'm a dealer. One of my friends came to me and said that they're carrying people Norway in Canada. Somebody talking to the office, they say my person has a document, but they're looking for 10% of carry. So I should be part of it. We went to the office, and then when we got there, the people asked me for my birth certificate or my person seriously accurate. But then they say that when we go, we'll be there for 2 years, they'll be paying our school. But then I asked for the company name. The customer name that I can't even understand, and only to their office, no signboard. They get someone that says,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we really wanted to get your feel of everything. But call us on 07705811886, 0770581886, or 0880514096, 0880514096. Wish he could call back to end his story. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother. Thank you for the interesting program this morning.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm doing solution here, Kenya. You know, when we're talking our people about us out there, they can't listen. When it's going to our girls out there, our girls, really. Look at you don't get me. Tell them to come back home, please. Tell them to come back home. You wait till they must come back home. We're making a life better for us now. Thank you very much, Mr. Satya. In serious.
Okay. Thank you so much. Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Morning. What's your name?
I'm Elijah J. Quiet from the team.
Yeah, quiet.
Yeah, office, celebration today. And once a meeting, on top of a child, anyone material. Today when my movie support material and all of this song, then they take you in the city. Now, this is thing. And he just said something. That time people go in children to people, children, parents, even check on their family else. It's very, very troublesome.
Okay.
So you need to educate people that chips for
Oh, sorry, your line is cracking. Anyway, we don't have time, Mr. Satya and others, so we can just come to you, Kema, for your parting comments today as we celebrate World Day Against Trafficking in Person.
Okay, thank you. Like today, as we are celebrating war against human trafficking, is actually a fight, which cannot be done in one time. So we urge the public out there, especially our young people and our parents, to be on the light and to always try to prevent themselves. Parents try to talk to your children. Yes, the opportunity is out there, but how to go for it? We are not stopping people of traveling, but traveling the right way.
Okay.
Because if you just say Liberia is hard and you want to go out to get better things, even what you are going for, what you were here for, it is even better than what you will find yourself in. So you don't know the danger out there that you are going for, that you think that is better. So what we can do is that to talk to you, we cannot change your mind of don't go anywhere, but we stop the illegal traveling in Liberia.
Okay.
Exactly.
Thank
so working on human trafficking, we'll actually try to curtail most of this process. Thank you.
Great. Let me come to you before the director, Emmanuel.
So as we celebrate today's, my advice would be to the Liberian, most especially our parents in the rural area, the rural dweller. So please understand and know who they're giving their kids to. Let them do a regular checkout on their kids. Most of the kids in rural are not doing well. They're in traffic. And the parents are not following up. Let the parents follow up to know how the children are doing. And the secretary got a number 2883. They they can call that number anytime. If they was Z anything or see anything, they can call 2883 and report to secretariat. Or if they move to nearby police station and report the cases or case to nearby police station so the police can follow up. It might not be trafficking, but it may look like trafficking. The secretariat or the police will see and investigate what kind of issue that is there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Director?
So at the level of the secretariat, research has proven that human trafficking is the world's second most profitable crime. And the Kema said, before our young people can travel, they need to make an informed decision. Someone shouldn't come to you and say, look, we got a job opportunity in the Gulf. First your passport, and then we'll get you over to the Gulf where you make $1,000 US a month. You should make an informed decision. So today's commemoration of the day will serve as a conduit to create awareness on the danger of human trafficking across Liberia. And I want to say a big thank you to the chair of the task force, the Minister of Labor, Councillor Charles Hezekiah Gibson, for giving us the support that we needed to ensure that the program is hosted today. And I also want to say a big thank you to our international partner, ROM, RDLO, Samaritan Press, UN Women, UN Human Rights, and the rest of the civil society organization who serve as on our planning committee to ensure that today is successful.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, he is the director for Trafficking in Person Secretariat at the Ministry of Labor, Adolfo Satya. You also listen to Emmanuel Kolemeli, the focus person trafficking in persons at the Community Watch Forum, and Kema Zina, an ambassador, all in these efforts. My name is Vafle Kamara. Next up, I will be speaking with the We Are Intellectual Movement top officials on the Super Morning Show.